Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to do a zigzag slip stitch to connect two squares together. If you remember my last video that I did with teaching you how to do a granny square, I finished all of my granny squares for a baby blanket, so I am going to put them together now. So I have them in order. So what we're first going to do is we're going to take our yarn, and I'm using the exact same yarn that I used to make these granny squares, so it will change as I work. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a slip knot. And first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the corner of your granny square, and the corner, whoops, hit my camera there. Corner has two chains, so we're going to do it in the top chain. Insert your hook into that top chain and then pull your slip knot through. And this white might not show up so well on this white, but this is the one that I have to start with, but it will show up on the green and pink that's here. So your next thing to do is find the other top loop, or in this case, the bottom loop of your granny square, which is this one. And you're going to go through the top of it so that your crochet hook, when you put it in, will be facing down. What you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn, you're going to loop it over your crochet hook and pull it through to make a slip stitch like that. So once you have that done, then you're going to go over to this next stitch on the bottom square and you're going to slip stitch again. Like that. And then you're going to do the exact same thing as a zigzag. You're going to go back and forth between each square and put it into the next stitch. So now we're going to go back to our white one. We're going to slip stitch. We'll go back over to the green one to the next stitch and do a slip stitch. And we'll go back over to our white one to the next stitch and do a slip stitch. Go back to the green, do another slip stitch into the next stitch. You just repeat that all the way to the end. Okay, so now that we're close to the end, you're going to do the exact same thing we did at the beginning. You're going to find the bottom chain of the corner here, and you're going to go into it, do a slip stitch, and then we'll go to our white one, find the bottom chain to that one, do a slip stitch. So now we can join more squares. So since I ended on the bottom square, I'm going to start with a top square. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the bottom chain in the corner. I'm going to insert my crochet hook into that chain, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to add on another square to the bottom. Find the top chain and insert to that one, and do a slip stitch in that one. And then you can continue doing the zigzag slip stitch. Now that you've finished that and you've added as many squares as you want in a row, you can go ahead and fasten off. And you're just going to pull your yarn through the loop that's still on your crochet hook. And there's the end of that row. So then you can just keep adding more and more rows to the top of each one, and then I'll show you how to crochet this side together. So now that you have all of your blocks connected together, you're still going to have a little bit of gaps in between them, so we got to do those rows. It's practically the same thing that you did before. We're just going to be having, you're going to be doing a little bit different here, going over these, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So our yarn is going to be in the back because you're going to be working this way, and it's going to, if you do it from the front, you're not going to be able to go under, you're not going to be able to go over top of this. So make a slip knot and then insert your hook into the second chain here to make your corner. Oops. Okay, so then you can just go ahead and start like we did before. And so what we're going to do is we're going to insert into the second chain here. Remember, we're working from the bottom. We're going through and pulling over. So it's the exact same thing we did before. It's just a little bit different now because we have to go over this one that you just did. Just continue doing the zigzag like you were doing before. Okay, so now that you have a little bit of a gap here, you're going to pull your yarn through the other hole here between these squares, and you're just going to be working with the yarn underneath. So when you go in, I like to pull my hook over to the next square and pull out the yarn, or pull yarn through, and it makes it a little bit easier because then you're not getting caught behind here. So now that we're at the corner, we have these two chains from the corner before that we did not work into. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into those to make the zigzag. Depending on how tightly you did your chains, it might be hard to go in and out. It just depends on how tight you did them. Some more yarn here. So now that we did those, we are going to work in the same chain that we did before to make this row of the zigzag to connect together. So you're going to work in that one. On both squares. And now we can cross. So now for crossing, we're going to do the exact same thing we did on this side to this side. So we're going to first go into this chain here that we already worked in. We'll slip stitch into that. And then we're going to slip stitch into the other square and that chain that we worked in. And then you can go ahead and continue the rest of the way. You're going to continue into this next chain. And then continue over to the next chain here. And then you can just continue the rest that you've been doing before. It's the exact same thing. Just do the zigzag slip stitch in the top of the stitches. Just like so. Going back and forth between each square on either side to connect them. And that makes your zigzag stitch to connect. So when you're done there, just continue all the way to the end of your row and do all of the rows to complete your blanket or just whatever you're making that has the squares. And you could either at the end, you'll want to weave in all your ends, and at the end, if you want to put on a border, that's great. And if you don't, that's fine too. It's all up to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys watch for more. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, Crochet with Abby.